Let's see if we can't just hop on in. And hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of Unlicensed Magic. I am your host, your friend, and your dungeon maestro, Dungeons or Dragons. You can also call me Quinn. Here back again today with the full cast. So first things first, we're going to do some introductions. We're going to go around the horn really quickly and have everyone introduce themselves, tell you where you can find them online, also give you their character name. And I think for today's get to know you question, what is your character's signature dish that they bring to the potluck? Or the barbecue or whatever. Like when your family gets together and everyone brings in a dish, what do you bring with you? So we're going to start out with Crazy Gamer Lady.
Hey guys, so as he said, I'm Crazy Gamer Lady. You can find me on TikTok under the same name. I play Akasi, the lizard folk druid, who will more than likely just bring whatever she can catch.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if it's cooked or not.
That's very lizard folk. All right, next up, Persephone.
Persephone Adora. You can find me in the dark hole in your closet that nobody knows about because that's where I hide. What would she bring to a potluck? Since she has no family, it would probably be people that she didn't know, and it'd be laced with something that was probably poisonous. So I can't say that I would really recommend to eat it, but it would be sweet potato pie.
Okay. Poison sweet potato pie. Oh, okay. Next up, let's go with Blondie.
Hi, I'm that one blonde nerd on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, whatever. My character is May. What would she bring? She doesn't know her family, so I don't think she's ever done the family potluck thing. But perhaps at the conservatory where she was raised, I'm guessing they maybe did something like that. I think she probably brought like a Black Forest cupcake, and it's like the only thing she can make because cooking is just really not her thing.
Okay,
So,
a Black Forest.
She just got really good at one
right
thing, and it's really good. And that's all she does.
Right. Sorry for people on stream. I'm moving some windows. I hope I don't give anyone vertigo for a second. Should have been prepared. I wasn't. That's on me. Next up, we'll go with Halfling Wizard.
Hey, Halfling Wizard. You can find me on all platforms under that. I am Nikolai / Ikarin / many other aliases. Let's see. Dish that he would bring to... Oh, I think it would definitely be like green bean casserole.
Okay. With or without the crispy onions?
With.
Okay.
Absolutely with.
Gotcha. Bit of cream of mushroom soup?
Oh, yeah.
All right. That's
all of it homemade, of course.
Of course.
And
last but certainly not least, Bardic Sweet Tea.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Sweet Tea. You can find me in TikTok under Bardic Sweet Tea or on Twitch under Sweet Tea Games. I will be playing Verith, and I feel like Verith I think he'd be a big sweets guy, so he'd probably bring a big old platter of brownies.
Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. All right. So we left off at the end of last session with those of us who were here last time getting ready to sort of pick up your new outfits, actually, from Krata to go across the way to Farside to have high tea. But we have two characters who were sort of out last week, and they still had a couple of things that they did during the day. So really quickly, I think we're going to start with Persephone, who Amerity went to check out the Harbor Masters where they live in hopes of finding your friend Jasper.
Friend is a loose term. He's just
he's
an acquaintance.
Yeah, some party members might call him a friend. Some party members might call him a potential love interest. Some party members might call him a nuisance. Others might call him a stranger. Who knows? He could be many things to many people. but he had disappeared. And you've learned that he is related to the harbor masters, the Parsival family. So they live on a boat that has been permanently docked in this harbor. It's one of a couple of boats like that. And it is sort of tucked away on the other side of the channel, sort of under where Farside would be. So there's ferries that go there every so often from the docks, and you can just pay to hop on that ferry. And I want you to make a perception check for me.
Alrighty. Yeah.
A 10. Okay.
It's very dark. It's very misty.
Yeah, you're doing this early in the morning. So you don't really notice anything too off about the ship until you get really close to it. So you don't have a chance to ask anyone about it until your ship is docking. And there's a little, plank that they have down to let people on. But as you step onto that plank to walk up into the ship, you notice that at the front of the ship, where like the figurehead would be, there's a person who has been tied there with ropes. With curly hair, with like frosted tips. He's a little tall and gangly.
Beanstalk.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard to recognize him because he's been beaten up real bad. You can make like a survival or nature or medicine check about what condition he's in.
All right, let's see.
On a 6, he don't look good.
What do I see on the ship other than that? Do I see anybody trolling?
So, the ferry's already running. So it's early in the morning, but they're up. From where you are, kind of to get on this gangplank, you're one of the earliest visitors. There's not too many people who come this early. There's a couple of other people. One of them is clearly sickly and a little bit older, and they're already being escorted up the gangplank by someone who has come down to meet them and help them up. And then the other 2 members look like they're getting ready to be athletic or whatever. They're stretching a little bit. They're wearing easy movement clothes. The person who came down to get the sick person is dressed in what is clearly a kind of uniform. Their uniforms have sort of these high collars but no sleeves, and these baggy pants, and they don't wear boots. But that's kind of all you can see from down here. So you can walk up that plank and see who's up there to meet you, what they might be doing. You can chicken out and stay on the boat and go back home.
No, I'm going to actually use my disguise kit.
Okay. You're going to disguise yourself real quickly. Are you going to adopt... So you kind of have a... Okay, on a 9. What are you doing to disguise yourself that results in like a 9 disguise?
I am putting my hair up.
Okay.
I am putting on like sort of like a bandana over my hair to cover the color. And maybe I'm just, as I walk along, I'm taking whatever dirt I can find on there and just like smushing it all over my face and on my arms.
Now,
Kind of make it look like I have like like a beggarly appearance.
Okay.
Where I look like I'm a misfortune who hasn't,
Yeah. And you're managing
strike
a
it rich.
9. So I will, for our audience, which includes my other players, of course, on a 9, I think, like, you look like you're trying to be inconspicuous. Right? For sure. So you go up, and at the top, there's a couple of people wearing that same uniform, and you can see it's the open deck of a ship, mostly. And there's sort of a higher area. And on the open area, there are a bunch of people in those uniforms, sort of, and you can recognize, doing instructions in some sort of martial art. So there's one person leading them who is going through forms and showing them, and they're all kind of copying what's being done. And you can make a perception check if you want to like notice anything about that. Or
Yeah.
we can move
Oh,
on.
what's wrong?
Okay.
Let's do.
Oh, nat 20 on that perception check. So you have fought with a druid by your side before. So you recognize that they're using the shillelagh cantrip, essentially, right? So when you use shillelagh, you use your wisdom instead of your strength or dexterity. So it's all about knowing where stuff goes. The other thing you notice is that they're all wielding those wooden swords that you've seen before because that's what Jasper used. For whatever reason, theirs feel different than his. You can't quite place it, but his was somehow like, I don't know, maybe tainted by an ancient evil or something. Whereas theirs are just like pieces of wood.
Okay.
But you also notice that like he didn't fight like they do. Because you've seen him in battle before. He uses different whatever, but it's the same sort of weapon. And they, like I said, they're using the shillelagh cantrip, stuff like that. And they're also, this is a beginner class. You
Okay.
notice.
How close are they to the poor little Jasper?
So Jasper is hanging off sort of the front of the ship, and the total deck space is maybe like 50 square feet of this lower deck. So he's sort of hanging off the end. You're maybe like 25 feet from where he'd be hanging off.
Okay, so he's hanging off completely off the side.
Yes. So he's on the front of the boat. He is the figurehead.
Oh, okay. I missed that part for some reason.
Yes. And these people who are training are kind of in the other front corner.
Okay.
So they're close enough that you know they would see you and intercept you if you went to him directly, or they'd at least probably notice you. But they're not like right on top of him. You also do see that there is a like upper deck, and the person who is sick has been entered into like a door that clearly is like a cabin underneath that upper deck. But also on that upper deck, there is a big shade, like an umbrella.
Yeah.
And with your 21 perception, there is like the smallest storm cloud you've ever seen just hanging over this umbrella, raining.
Okay.
And underneath that like stationary umbrella, there is a tall woman dressed in that uniform. And she's pretty far away, but your eagle eye 20 on perception, you notice that she looks kind of like your friend Jasper. And she's really pretty, or she would be if she didn't have this big old scar across her face.
Yeah. She doesn't use makeup very well then. All right. I am going to do something a little stupid.
Go for it.
Fair warning.
There's gonna be a lot of that.
I am going to pull out my Echo Knight feature.
Okay.
And I am going to cast my Echo Knight in that area between the novices and the lady under the cloud, kind of off to the backside. So within their view, but to where they'd be looking away from the bow. Or is
Okay.
it stern? I can't remember. I cannot remember boat stuff.
Yeah, so it definitely, I think first, the instructor notices because it would be behind his students, right? Because they're facing him. And the person up top does or does not react, but the teacher looks around and sees you, and just calmly responds, "If you are here to challenge, you can please wait off to the side. It will be a minute."
Okay, then. Have I cast my Echo Knight yet or no?
Oh yeah, like it popped up, and that's his immediate reaction. Like it's.
Oh, is he looking at the Echo Knight?
He saw the
He looked
Echo
at me,
Knight,
okay.
and he looks around
Okay.
because the Echo Knight's obviously magical, right?
Yeah.
So he looks around and he sees you, and he's like, "Oh, you're clearly the thing who cat." if you're looking to challenge, wait a minute, I'm almost done.
I'm not ready to challenge just yet, but I want to take a swim. Why don't you? And upon this, she's going to do something so stupid. I'm so sorry for this. She is going to take one of her arrows and she's going to just gingerly right in front of him, tie rope to the end of it, pull it up.
Okay.
Does this ferry have, is it a steam powered ferry or is it a sail powered ferry?
It is an oar-powered ferry.
All right, so there's
Or
no actual
I think it's
masts.
technically, it's a pole, really, for the
Oh,
ferry.
so there's no mast.
Because it's more of a barge. Yeah. Well, on the grounded ship, there is a mast. Sorry. You came here on a ferry. The ferry's like a barge. It's moved on a pole. This ship, in its day, sailed with sails. So there's 2 masts.
There's 2 masts. Okay. I'm going to look up. I'm going to say, watch this crazy stuff. And I'm going to shoot the arrow up to the top of the mast. Oh, God, please don't let this fail. That is up to you.
So on a 13, like your arrow hits the mast and it kind of bounces off. And this guy's just looking at you very incredulously. And he looks up to the top deck. And the woman who's up there calls down. She says, we don't really have time for nonsense today. Did you have a point?
Yes. Let me try this again. Oh, hold on, I hit the wrong thing. My bad. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so you fire an arrow
Yes.
with a rope attached to it. And it
Yes.
sticks in on the top of this mast.
Yes.
Okay. So this is gonna be initiative.
Initiative. I hit the boat. It's an inanimate object.
They are going to react to what you
Okay.
do. This is gonna be initiative.
Please don't die today.
All right.
I don't die.
Roll
I'm the Silver Veil.
all the students. Okay.
Yeah.
I
You'll
just
be
make fun.
fine.
So, May,
So
remember when
you're-
you wanted
you're
to
up
teach Akasi
first.
about stealth?
There are.
Uh-huh.
You're,
Yeah,
you're-
maybe we need to include some more people in that lesson.
You are up first. Within your field of view, there is the teacher. He has about 5 students that are beginners. We'll say 5. And
Yeah.
then there is the further away woman. You
Yeah.
are up first in initiative. What are you going to do?
How far am I from the figureheadish of Jasper?
So it's about 25 feet away from you, and he's hanging off the side of the boat. So we'll call him like 5 feet down.
Perfect. I real quick sling my shoulder back, my longbow back on my shoulder. I grab onto this rope and I make a running leap off the front of the boat.
Okay, are you going to try and like land on Jasper?
No, I'm going to try to land beside him and cut him down real quick.
Okay, gotcha. Go ahead and make me an acrobatics
Oh, good. I'm proficient at that.
or athletics. If acrobatics or athletics, but I think you like acrobatics, so that was animal handling.
Oh, whoops. I thought I hit the right thing. My bad. Well, I mean, Jasper is acting crazy right now. Okay, well, that didn't go as I planned, but it's okay.
So you miss him on the first swing. It's not so bad that like you're stuck off the rope, but you're gonna have to wait for the backswing to have a chance to get him.
Okay.
So the master points to his students and he says, "First one up the mast wins." And the 5 students go hut 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 hut, and they go to like climb the mast to ostensibly remove your arrow, you assume. The master watches them do that. The woman is clearly doing something magical because the storm cloud above her is getting bigger and she's saying words. It is,
Is
now.
she cursing at the storm cloud? Because I would be.
Do you speak Druidic?
No,
Druidic. Do you speak it?
I do not.
Then
That's why it just
then you
sounds
do
like
not
she's
understand
cursing
what
at it.
she is saying. All right, so you're on your backswing.
All right.
Now you realize that you could potentially try to really he'd be your best handhold where he is. Like if you want to free Jasper, you're gonna like land on him to cut him free. Or you could bail on this plan and like drop from the rope and land on that ferry that brought you here, which you could probably commandeer or just swim or whatever. Or you could just let go of the rope and land in the harbor. Those are kind of the options I can think about. You can come up with something crazy, but I just want to make sure.
I like the idea of landing on Jasper. At this point, I'm just like, I gotta
Okay.
get this kid out of here because he's
So,
gonna look crazy.
Go ahead and make another acrobatics roll.
Please don't fail.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. So definitely. Yeah, you land on him. He kind of oofs. He's sort of semi-conscious.
oh hush.
Amerity?
You know what? You can thank me later by paying me before this action that I'm going to do,
Okay.
which is save your butt.
So, are you gonna cut the ropes that are holding him? Is that the
Yeah.
idea? All right, go ahead and
Yeah.
make an attack roll.
I clicked it. Is it? It's hold on. There we go. It's lagging. Did I switch to Lula's dice with this week?
I guess. So he is held up by both arms and also at his shoulders and also at his legs. Now that you're like up on him, you can tell that like this maybe wasn't gonna kill him. It clearly was uncomfortable, but he's got multiple supports there. So you on a 13, you cut through like half of them, and he starts half-heartedly going, "No, you'll make it worse. It'll be worse."
You know what'll be worse is if you don't shut up, because I will gag you today. I can't handle your talking.
So
You're distracting me.
So that'll be your turn. On the monks' turn, you can tell one of the top student has made it to the top of the mast and is pulled out and is holding your arrow. So your rope that you're connected to is now really not connected to anything. And he's up
No,
there
it's
going
connected
like,
to a person.
And the master is clearly still like has turned from watching them to watching you. And from where you are, you can't see what the woman is doing. So now you're on Jasper. He's about half freed. He's clearly very out of it.
Yeah, it's okay. He can handle it. I'm going to go ahead and try to finish cutting through these restraints.
Okay. Oh yeah, you. So on a
I don't even know what
17.
Where'd it go? Where's my window?
Well, you
Go ahead.
rolled a 17.
Okay.
So on a 17, you're gonna realize that when you cut this final rope, that's the last thing holding both of you up. So you better have a plan for what happens when you cut that rope right now, and that plan is go.
I'm going to keep holding onto that rope because if there's a railing, that kid is going to come crashing into that railing holding my arrow.
Okay.
And he's going to be our anchor.
Okay. So you're gonna trust his grip on the top of that to hold you, or you're saying you're both falling at the same time and you're gonna use him as a counterweight. Okay. You're gonna roll.
I am holding Jasper to where if we do make impact, I will be the one to make impact first.
Okay. We're gonna make a acrobatics roll at disadvantage here.
Okay.
Because with cargo, and this is a complicated thing. Okay,
know what it was, 'cause I
at an
can't see it.
11, so you're going to take some fall damage.
Okay.
And so is he. All right, you're going to take 11 fall damage.
Right.
And Jasper is going to take an amount that I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
And he's knocked out, and you are like in the drink with Jasper.
The drink?
The water. The harbor.
Oh. Oh, okay.
The
That's
liquid.
Easy to handle. That's easy
The
to
great
handle.
blue.
Well, I am going to be letting go of that rope now because it's useless.
Yeah, yeah. So are you going to try and swim to shore with him, or are you going to try and swim him up to that ferry?
I'm going to attempt to. How far is shore? Or the harbor, technically?
So you're really on the far side of the harbor. So looking, you would have to break the surface first to look around and like see where you are to see where the closest shore would be.
Okay. What do you want me to do for that one?
Yeah, go ahead and roll an athletics check because you've got a passenger. This is heavy swimming. Yeah, so you break the surface. You've got Jasper. He's surprisingly buoyant for some reason. Especially for a skinny dude. You look around. You can see that there's the boat you hopped off of. There's the ferry that's like a barge that took you there. There is also within your sight like an elevator that seems like other ships go to that takes them all the way up the top of that cliff, and that up there is Farside where the nobles live.
Okay.
Also, like the far side of the harbor where you've been staying is maybe quarter mile away. That's a long
mile.
swim with an unconscious boy.
Yeah. So the closest thing is the ferry.
The closest thing is the ferry.
The one I commandeered, or the one or the one I can commandeer?
Well, so
or...
yeah, you could hypothetically commandeer it probably, if someone doesn't stop you.
Yeah. All right, I'll try that first.
Okay. So yeah, on that, we'll let the athletics check ride. You can take him over to the ferry, hop him up on the side, get up yourself. I'm not gonna make you fight the guy with the tiller. He'll just be like, "I sure."
I'll give him like, what do I have? I'll give him 2 gold pieces
Okay.
to get out and forget he saw
Yeah,
anything.
he like scrambles up the plank, and as you start taking the barge away, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Gotcha.
Oh man. You feel it first. The hair on the back of your head stand up. And then in the split second, you don't even know why, you duck. And you're still singed as a lightning bolt passes above where you were, shooting through and just harmlessly striking the bay where it is diffused. So you're going to take only partial damage from this.
Okay.
You're going to take 11 damage
All right.
from that lightning bolt. That if you trace back with your eyes is clearly from the woman with the cloud.
Gotcha.
And like just cuz you get the anime zoom in on her eyes and she's watching you.
I'm just like,
And yeah, but we'll let you make your escape then, sort of rather heroically. And when you show up to meet everyone, you will have an unconscious and waterlogged Jasper.
it'll be like, yeah, it'll be like that very thing. I kick open the door. There's a Jasper right over my shoulder. We're all drenched in like water. I'm just like, this kid is too much trouble. He better be worth it.
So we're gonna quick change and give Halfling Wizard a chance to talk through what Nikolai / Icaron was doing that morning before we come back to everyone. So Nikolai was meeting one of his contacts, and you wanted him to meet the one who has. So for those watching, Nikolai formerly was the head of a group called Arcane Focus. They are like an underground organization that's pro-magic. But he's been out of town for 5 years, and so that organization has been taken over by Mogren, his evil ex-boyfriend. Evil ex-boyfriend? We'll say evil ex-boyfriend. So some of the people who he used to know in that organization have moved on to other jobs, and so he's going to be able to speak to them to get information out of them. And you had said that we are talking to the person who has now moved and is in the Duke's household.
Right.
So this person, I think they work in the kitchens. And I think they are like a magical pastry chef. Right? So they make
That's
majestic, like 18 tiered cakes that are held together with like magic caramel buttresses and things like that, right? It's no wonder the Duke was after them when they used to work with you. So like but they are in a position to hear a lot of the gossip that happens in that kitchen. And I think you catch them when they are out shopping for ingredients. Right?
Okay.
So not even necessarily there, but they will stop. Did you have a name? Because I do like to let you name your NPCs.
I do. This one would be. Let me find my list.
For my other DMs out there, this is a great way to cheat. Let your players name their own NPCs, and then you don't have to name as many things. And then you can also tell them that it will increase their ownership and stuff, but it will really just let you be lazy. It's great.
Okay, this person's name is Fior.
Okay.
It's Fior. Glaze Brew.
Glaze Brew. I like it. And Fior, is that Glaze Brew? Is that an elven name? Is that a dwarven name?
It is. It's actually Elvish.
Okay.
Yes. They come from the southern part of the Northlands.
Cool. And because they're a chef, I will make some French. Oh, mon Dieu! He takes a second to look at how you're dressed. Oh, Nikolai. Yes. How are you? Welcome back to town. I'm drifting a little bit German because I do that. God damn it! He'll just be German then. We'll figure it out. I'll give him a
German
voice.
pastry chef. That's all right.
I was going to keep him French, but since every time I do French, I wind up going German. We could make a joke
fair.
about several world wars, but we won't.
When he says that to me, Nikolai will look at him sternly and basically say, Nikolai.
Oui, Nikolai. Do you think we should catch up?
I think we should.
I know. Remind me, is it tea or coffee?
Tea.
I know the place. And he will lead you to because Freeport has a bunch of cafes where people can have clandestine meetings because I say so.
Which is great.
You get your tea and talk. And he will say, well, how have you been?
And I would say it has been a long time since I have been here. Many things have changed.
We.
And I'll lean in and I'll say, have you?
In some ways, we all change, but in others, we are still the same, no? If you are asking me if you can trust me, I believe you can. Unless you have changed. Or if you are asking if I still make the raspberry chocolate cake, yes.
A little bit of both. I was gone for 5 years. I changed, and I am changed back.
Ah.
I am looking for allies in the old ways.
Hmm. Well, I must say that I am now comfortable with where I am at. But I do still believe. I do sometimes wonder if it will be 1, 2, 300 years. Perhaps patience is required, but I will let you know what I know. There is much gossip in the kitchens. I hear there is some talk of perhaps a young lady or two who might be making their debut this season, who might claim to have a relation to the king of the elves. You have heard that the king's consort passed about a fortnight past, no?
No.
The question of succession is on everyone's minds, with the, queen, with the king's daughter being missing these 30 so years, and now the consort having passed, the succession is in question. These two will not be the first pretenders who claim to be the long-lost grandchildren of the queen, but
How
of
did
course, they have not yet come to the duke, so this is all speculation.
how did consort pass? What was by what method? Natural causes, or do we suspect foul play?
I'm gonna let you make the history check for how much this person knows. And if you want to use a different skill other than history, make a case for it.
Now, history should be fine. Come on, sheet, work for me today. Come on. $24 on the history.
They are saying that it was an illness, but the symptoms match a certain magical poison, I know. There is expected foul play. The kingdoms of Ibretia and Queldoris are, of course, always on the list of enemies of the Northlands, but could be anyone.
Never in my 218 years has anyone ever circumvented the royal family of the Northlands like this.
Oui, it is a tragedy. But
Do you have any leads on who may have been behind this?
Personally, no, I do not. If I were, they would have had to get close in order to poison the food, which is, of course, working in the kitchen, I know how hard that can be. There would have been a royal taste tester. Someone who infiltrated on the highest levels. And I know of no staffing changes recently, so they would have had to have been there for a long time. Almost as if a trusted servant or perhaps even friend were turned somehow to an enemy.
Are you still in contact with any of the other informants in the city?
I have some friends, yes. I hear a thing or two. And there are few who would turn me down if I showed up with a batch of cupcakes.
I need you to rally the troops, one might say. I wish to speak with all informants that are still aligned with me.
Me. Well,
Not Mogren.
There is Lilith, of course. She will be my first stop. I can think of a few others.
We must be careful of those who are aligned with Mogren.
We. When and where?
When you have reached all of the informants, you can reach me at, and I will write down magically on a piece of paper where he can meet me and slide it across.
Okay.
So that when he reads it, it'll basically ignite.
He'll nod at you and respond with the, "Oui, I can do this for you. It is, I have forgotten what it is like to speak with a man filled with purpose."
And then I will stand up and I will say, and I will look at him and go, and do not forget the raspberry tarts.
We.
And then I will excuse myself.
All right. So now I think everyone will reconglomerate back at the Emporium. So I know a couple of you knew that you had clothes to go fetch from Krata. And I think just because it's a great way to make these entrances, I think Nikolai will have come in through the lower floor stairs and will be coming up the back entrance. See you guys say hi as you're going across to get your stuff. When the front door slams open, and there's a Meredy making her entrance with Jasper. So I'll let you describe that. You've got an audience there in this hallway of just your friends, and you got this boy. And he's unconscious.
Yeah, and I'm at like 7 hit points, so I'm not looking too good either. But I'm brushing it off. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm good. Don't worry about it.
Do you need some healing? You look worse for wear.
What happened?
If this boy is not your one true love, then I'm taking him back and dumping him in the harbor.
Oh, May, is this a friend of
yours?
yours?
You want him? You want to take him? Here, ready? Catch. No.
She's like, well, I don't think he can take any more hits right now, Meredy. But no, don't throw him back in the harbor, okay? Just.
Is there a table in this area that I can just like dump him on?
Yeah, there can be a table. Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna like plop him on there, like super unceremoniously, like a bag of potatoes.
I'm gonna immediately
I
walk
think
over
you have
and
to
like
swipe off a vase of flowers to do so.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure.
I immediately walk over and like, is he alive? Like, what?
He better
be.
You can make a medicine check to see if he's alive.
I'm sure this will be great. Okay, hang on. Oh, actually, that's not too bad. Field medicine, healing's not her thing, but you learn some field medicine out. It's a 17.
Yeah, he's alive, but he's not doing so well. He's got a few broken bones and some bad bruises. He's been exposed to the elements and hasn't eaten enough. He needs like a couple days of sleep. He's not gonna be out fighting anyone anytime soon.
Vareth, can you do anything?
Do you?
Absolutely.
Now, Blondie, real quick, I'm gonna ask because you're the one who had it. Where is his sword?
Oh gosh, I had it on my person, and then we came back to. I think I hid it under the mattress of my bedroom.
Now you guys do what you do.
I don't like when you ask that question.
I'm gonna cross over. I'm gonna cross over to a Meredy and put my hand on her shoulder and say, "Well done."
Thank you. And I'm gonna like take out my flask, like it's a cork, so I just like I just start drinking.
I catch the cork.
I'm going to examine the unconscious person.
I
was about to say the body, but I'm going to examine the unconscious person who I've never. Yes, can I help you?
What about me, Dad? What about me?
If we're gonna get interrupted, it better be that cute.
The kids and the dog.
Let that be a lesson.
Yeah, so I'm gonna examine the unconscious person who I've never met before, and I'm gonna check over their wounds, see how badly they're hurt.
For sure. So you are knowledgeable about that, so I'm actually going to even give you advantage on the medicine check.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah, dirty 20. Yeah, this guy. Maybe if you had the spell like Greater Restoration, you could magically heal him, but he's beyond like normal magical healing. He needs some time to let his body recuperate from the damage that's been done. He will survive, especially he should probably get like broth for the first couple of days rather than solid food, but he'll be okay, but it's gonna take a little bit.
You're saying he eats the Bratz diet, so he eats like bread, rice, applesauce, or what is it, bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'm able to determine that pretty much no healing spell would like kind of help him at this point then.
There's healing spells that could help him out, but they're above your current level.
Okay.
Yeah. That's like it's Greater Restoration, like a 4th level spell or something like that?
Something like that,
Yeah.
He's in rough shape.
Do you know who could do it? Is Valerie Parseval could heal this dude right up. If you took him to the Harbor Masters, they could fix this.
Okay. So he's looking very worse for wear. He'll survive, but he needs rest. In order to heal him would take magic that I do not possess. However, my friend Valerie with the Harbor Masters, she would be able to heal him right up.
Emerity, do you have anything to say?
Is she a trustable source? Can we trust her?
Oh, I would trust her, absolutely.
Can you throw her as far as you can trust her? I mean, that's my follow-up.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty strong. I could probably throw someone pretty far.
All right, we'll go with that.
Emerity, where did you find Jet? Like, where was he?
He was quite an adorable figurehead on the front of a ferry boat. I mean, if I were him, I would have definitely chose a different outfit.
A ferry boat doesn't usually have a figurehead.
I know. They were trying to be different.
So the boat that he was the figurehead on is where the Harbor Masters live. That is like a galleon. That's like a Pirates of the Caribbean ship that is docked in the harbor. You took a ferry to get there because it is like dry docked. It's stationary.
I got you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was an okay looking figurehead. Like 7 out of 10 probably would have gotten a better upgrade somewhere else.
Who was holding him?
Some lady who tried to be all, look at me, I have lightning, and I'm like, okay, cool, nice job. And that was
Lightning.
it. Yeah, and a bunch of people that had a similar. I don't know. Did they look a little bit like Jasper as far as their clothing? Because I remember you described it.
Was this a
Jasper dresses very differently than they did.
Okay.
You did his sister looks like him. Yeah, if you haven't figured it out yet, Valerie's the one who shot lightning at you.
How rude.
I mean, your
That's
character
not
doesn't
happening.
know that.
Yeah,
But-
no, I don't know that, but
don't the hang on. Jasper is the son of the Harbor Masters. They live on what did the ship look like?
it was big, and it looked kind of fancy. You know, looked like it had some money somewhere. Like
Vareth can make a perception check to notice if she's talking about like where you've been studying for the past 6 months.
Yeah.
and I'm gonna like describe it in detail on at least the nice little umbrella
Oh yeah, yeah.
and the cloud cover.
Okay, so
That's the Harbor Master's ship. Yep. That's the Parseval family home. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's where you found that's the Harbor Master ship. Yeah, that's where I spent a lot of my time training.
Oh,
No, I don't
okay
think
then.
Oh,
Jasper
wait. So do you
is
think
on-
they took Jasper?
We ain't getting him back if that's the case.
I think that is very bad idea.
Yes, Jasper's not on good terms with his family. I don't think. I think this is. I mean, obviously, but
The
I was
lady
like,
person that
recently.
was on the boat shot lightning at me. Okay, like that itself is just so utterly rude.
Well, which lady was it? That surely it wasn't Valerie.
It was, she had a giant like rain or a small storm cloud over her, and there's like a scar on her face. She needed
So-
some. Did I saw that scar with my perception check, didn't I?
Yes, you saw the scar with your
Okay.
perception check. The storm cloud Varith recognizes as like the Parsifal family just keeps that little storm cloud, and that's part of how like they keep the weather clear in Freeport so that the harbor is usable all year round. But the scar, that's definitely Valerie.
Oh, I see. Oh, was there a reason? Was it warranted? She seemed so nice to me.
I mean,
obviously,
I kind of like gesture at all of Jasper, like, look at this.
I'm sorry, but if somebody does that to their brother, they are maybe not the nicest person. Just
Do you know if
I don't
she
know a lot
beat
about
any small
family.
animals as a kid? Did she like kill any small animals? Is there like a pattern so we're not going to go, oh, we didn't see this coming, you know?
Oh no, I know of no history of animal abuse. I didn't even know they had a brother until recently.
Case in point, you don't know that she's the one who did that to him. You know she tried to stop you from taking him when you were a stranger who showed up to, like, I don't know, Batman him out of there.
I mean, she
It was
wasn't
Sin
saving him,
Daddish,
was she?
yes.
You know, it's kind of that implied consent thing, you know. She was there.
I mean, if she was trying to
Mary, are you
protect him, then
okay?
she did a very bad job.
Do you need some healing?
I think I got it.
Are you
She's gonna do
sure?
healing
I
hands.
Can I
can
have some
help.
insight check on Verity to see if she's got it?
Amerity, while you were on this boat or near this boat, whatever you were doing, did you by chance get any indication as to why he was tied to front of
No.
boat or ship?
That was the weird part. I didn't. Like I said, he was.
I mean, it was clearly a punishment.
Yeah, he was spread eagle on the front of that bow.
Well, then it would probably be prudent for us not to deliver him back.
Yes,
So we
I
must,
concur.
if we are going to find greater healing or restoration, then we need to find it elsewhere for this young man.
Do you think Spring knows any healing magic? Or Letty?
We could ask.
Do I know who that is?
All right, so Letty runs the Charms shop. She is the tiefling who you guys have met before. And Spring works in the apothecary, and a couple of you have met her. And she's an Eladrin. You can guess what season Eladrin she is. It's spring.
It's a hard one.
It's spring.
Obviously, it's autumn, guys. Come on.
I'm gonna go check with oh my gosh, brain, sorry. I'm gonna go check with Spring really quick and see if she has anything.
So when you-
Ikasi.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
I was going to Ikasi. Maybe perhaps you should ask your brother if he knows of a legitimate source of greater restoration. He seems to know a lot about this town.
I can ask him.
Maybe he can help.
All right. So first we'll do when May goes to open up the door to the apothecary. Remember, it's kind of like a greenhouse in there. When you open the door, what surprises you at first is that it's cold. And I think you've been in this shop once before. I know Nikolai has been, and it was like tropical and warm. It's cold today. And when you walk in, you see an elf behind the counter, but it is not Spring. And she is very pale, and she has raven black hair. And she turns to you, and she says, "Oh, it's about time we met. I'm Winter. You must be May."
Yes, I'm May. Are you friends with Spring?
In a manner of speaking.
Can I roll a history check to see if May knows anything about Aladdin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a 22.
So, on a 22 from your history check to know about Eladrin, you do know that Eladrin are a type of elf, that they manifest differently, and that those manifestations are called seasons. But what you know about Eladrin is that they consider themselves the same person, regardless of what season. It's like they're in a different mood. This person has introduced herself to you as a different person. And I think on an Arcana check, you can maybe know a little bit more about that.
Okay. That's a 21.
Yeah. She's been through some sort of sufficient trauma that she has a form of like dissociative identity disorder. So she's like multiple personalities with her seasons, which is not as it's supposed to be, and says that she's had a hard life.
Okay.
Um,
So for most intents and purposes, I'm meeting a different person.
Yeah, for most intents and purposes. She probably knows everything that Spring knows, and Spring probably knows everything she knows. It'd be hard for you to tell that for sure without, like, being them, but, like, that's probably how it works.
Okay. Hi, Winter. Yes, it's nice to meet you. It's good to see you. I have a question for you. I don't know what kind of healing abilities you have, but we have a friend who's
I have none.
None? Do you have any healing potions? Any?
We've got the basic health potions and the ingredients for them. If you want something to take with you out into the world, is there some particular reason?
A friend of ours has been hurt pretty badly.
Oh, is he?
Seems
She?
seems beyond kind of the normal healing.
Is that the ruckus out there? She points to the hall.
Is she pointing to the hall?
Yeah.
Yes, that.
Well, then let's take it, and she'll go out into the hall to take a look. We'll cut away at Kasi. You're gonna go in to get your brother. And you notice when you go in that he has mannequins set up, and he actually has 4 of them. And they've got like your outfits for the night, and he's making final adjustments, and he's very, very like fidgeting over it, and he sees you come in and he goes, "Ah!" He says, yeah, I'm not quite ready. How you doing?"
Jasper just came back. He is
Oh,
heavily
did he?
wounded.
Oh, wounded.
Would you know someone who sells scrolls of greater restoration
Greater rest.
or restoration?
That's high level healing. We go to the Harbor Masters. They're the ones who. That's highly controlled magic. You're talking about like what, a level 4 or 5 license. Forget about it. Yeah, I'd go to the Harbor Masters, and that's your best shot.
We found it best they don't go to the Harbor Masters.
Then is he dying?
It'll take a few days for him to be okay.
Well, as far as I remember, he's got a bed upstairs, right?
Very well.
close the door on your way out. I kind of want to make it like a thing when everyone walks in and sees the stuff. Is Amerity with you guys? I'm kind of proud of hers.
She is.
All right. You. I mean, you saw your dress already. You have fun. It'll be great.
So I head out and I close the door.
Winter, when she goes over and takes a look at Jasper, puts down her hand and she reaches, at his neck and takes his pulse. Turns back to you and she'll say, he's beyond. I mean, I can help make him more comfortable as he recuperates, but maybe if Autumn were here, but I haven't seen her in years.
Gotcha. Yeah. What do you have to make him more comfortable?
I can start work on some tea. He needs a bed.
Okay. Let's take him upstairs, guys.
I can carry him fairly easily.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Barrett.
And in
Maybe a
fact,
beanpole, but
you're maybe the only one who can, because he's very tall for a human. This is your first time meeting Jasper, I think, as you carry him up the stairs. He's very tall for a human. He's like 6'5", 6'6". He's skinny and lanky. His hair has been dyed so that it has frosted tips, and it was a bad rush dye job that happened recently. As if like a woman much shorter than him put it in his hair outside in the snow.
Quick disguise.
And that's, I mean, he's okay looking. He's like a dude, whatever. Although, what sort of divine senses do you have as a cleric?
Divine senses.
Yeah.
Let me see. I don't think I don't think I actually took any spells that would allow me to like sense anything like good or evil or anything like that. Or that wouldn't be a class feat, would it?
I know paladins get some stuff, and I thought some types of clerics do. I don't recall if the grave cleric does.
Well, I'm a life cleric.
Oh, you're a life cleric. Oh, I thought you were going.
Yeah.
Never mind. Well, I don't think a life cleric does.
No.
I mean,
Well,
they
I
have
don't
like
know.
detect
You've
good
played
and
it.
evil, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
If they have it.
Well, as a spell, but I don't think I prepared that spell.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Then yeah. No, he's just like a dude.
Just a dude.
I'm a dude. He's a dude.
Boy, just an ordinary boy.
I was really just about to say that.
So,
Take that from me.
are you guys going to put him into... So remember, you've got 3 rooms. One room, Akasi slept in last night. Vareth slept in it last night. It has Jasper's armor, his sword, and his dead uncle's sword in it. There's room number 2, where Nikolai rests in when he rests. And then there's room number 3 that has been Amerity and May, where ostensibly Jasper's sword is hidden under one of the mattresses. Like a pig waiting to disturb your sleep.
You could put them in the room where I sleep. Since it's just me in there, I meditate and I don't lay in a bed. So,
oh, for sure, yeah. So it's easy enough to put him in the bed. And yeah, there's not. I mean, Vareth knows enough to like make him comfortable and tuck him in and make sure he's not resting on something that's gonna hurt him.
Yep. So I just go ahead and lay him down gingerly, make sure he's nice and laid out, not see it in any weird way that would cause him to be achy or sore when he wakes up.
For sure.
Any more sore than he already will be. Anyway.
May's gonna go and get his stuff out of the other room and put it there, and then go and get his sword and his wood sword that she found and just put it back by him.
Okay. So yeah, it's easy enough just to put the armor and the stuff in a chair. When you take the wood sword and you get into the same room as him, like it just feels like a little magnetically pulled towards him.
That's different. Can I make an Arcana check on that?
Yeah.
That is an 18.
Yeah, it's like... So you use the spell Shadow Blade. And when you use the spell Shadow Blade, you know that like you can pull it back to you and blah, 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 blah. This isn't exactly that, but this is like connected to him magically in some way. Much like your Shadow Blade is when you call it, but different.
That's interesting. Let's ask him about that. When he wakes up. Okay. She's gonna go, and as she gets closer, does it get stronger, like a magnet, or?
It does, and also his arm that was limply falling off the bed starts raising, outstretched towards it. And if you like do it, you can just he'll be unconscious, lying out, and you can put that sword in his hand.
Yeah, I think she's just gonna walk up and just curiosity put the sword in his hand.
And as you do, his hand closes underneath yours, and the sword disappears. And his hand just slumps back down like it was.
Well,
Interesting. I'm wondering if May's ever seen anything like that before.
Not
Eldritch
exactly, not
Knight.
specifically, not particularly.
That we're gonna, yeah, okay. When he wakes up, we're gonna have to have a little conversation about the whole. And magic, but that's not anything I've. Is Akaran in the room or like still, since it's his room? Have you ever seen anything quite like that before? It felt drawn to him magically somehow.
I don't know if I have or not.
You've definitely seen magic users who use weapons, and
Right.
in all manner of ways, right? Like Eldritch Knights have their blade bond, and so it could be like anything.
Right.
That said, you haven't specifically seen this, but you're not like I don't know that you'd be particularly weirded out by it.
Okay. I have seen similar things, but nothing specifically like this. But
Weird
does
that it
not-
happened when
it
he
does
was
not work.
unconscious, but he's
Right.
unconscious, so who knows?
So it's obviously connected to him in some way magically. So
Interesting. What time is it? Does anyone know what time it is?
Well, high tea's at 4, so you got to catch the gondola ride at 3:30, and you got to get changed. So let's make it 3:00.
Oh gosh, with everything that happened. Okay, Meredy, Nikolai, we have so much to talk about. We don't have a lot of. How would you like to go to high tea?
Ew. Gross. Do you look at me and ever picture me in anything that is not either black or grayscale? Because that just doesn't happen. Okay?
I mean, it's not really my thing either, but I got invited to high tea on the far side, and it's a very formal invitation.
Reminding
I
you,
think we need to
Blondie,
go.
because the other two weren't here last week, so they don't know. That
Mhm.
invitation was written out to you in your full elven name,
Mhm.
Amelindra, and was given the last name Vindhal Flair.
Oh yes, I have my notes on last week.
Vindhal being the last name of the king of the elves, just by happenstance. Like, that's weird.
Yeah, I
and-
think May's gonna turn over to Nikolai and open just a single channel to him and just say, we really need to talk after this tea. Like, really need to talk. But the invitation had like a magic seal, and it showed up to me, and it was addressed to my elven name with the last name Vindhal.
Okay, I'm going to talk back to her and tell her everything that I learned talking to Fior about King's Consort being a dying and foul play, and that, which is a huge thing because someone has infiltrated the high realms of the Northlands, which is never been done.
Gosh, how much time do? Does anyone know how long it'll take us to get from here to the gondola?
Verith would know that. It's probably like a 20-minute walk.
Yeah. That's
So we've got like
too
10
bad.
minutes.
If you want me to go, I'm going as security only.
Ooh,
Uh,
question. Didn't the invitation say you could only bring 2 escorts?
The
If
invitation
I don't need to
did
go, then
say,
I'd love to take a nap.
The invitation did say 1 or 2 escorts. However, you can decide to bring however many people you want. If you want the full crew.
I mean, I can,
People aren't telling me anything these days.
dang it, it's 3rd level.
Oh, Emerity, would you like to? Gosh, how does the nobility do this? Would you like to come as my guard, maybe?
Oh yeah,
'Cause
guard.
that's
Yes,
like not
I don't.
technically.
I'm not changing these. Well, I gotta change these clothes because now they're wet, and
I think
Yes.
we may want to dress in like a little bit more of like the elven. Nikolai, you know a little.
Nikolai,
Have you
the
ever spent
outfit
time
you
in-
got from Krata would be perfectly fine for
Yeah.
someone of your position at High Tea.
Nikolai, do you?
Okay.
Have you spent any time with the nobility? Do you know a Viscount Gentiri von Elsgrove?
Well, that is a possibility.
That's a history check.
Well, okay, out of game,
Yeah.
I think that we forgot that Ikaran is related to the royal family.
Oh, did we? Oh, okay. We can remember that in
Yeah.
game.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, well, yeah, he's related to the royal family. So
how remind me how you were
he
related.
would probably...
Remind
I
me what relation you
am-
have.
They, like, the king and queen would basically be like my aunt and uncle.
Okay, that's perfect. So you then know very well about your cousin, the princess, the like direct heir, who's been missing
Right.
for about as long as May is old. Give or take 9 months. And you, so I've renamed them Vindhal as the like mainline name. So I hope that's okay with you. And we can definitely slot you in.
I never named them.
Okay, perfect. So yeah,
I never named them.
Yeah. So that will definitely influence how much you know on your role here. But I will give you still a history check to know about this guy specifically. You're gonna know about like his family and stuff for sure.
Okay. So, yeah. Sorry. Okay, so I'm sorry. What do you want me to do again? I'm sorry.
A history check for your knowledge of
Was there a
specifically
history check? Thank
the
you.
Viscount Gentiri von Altsgrave.
14.
Okay. So the von Altsgrave family is a noble family that is like historically very loyal to the king and to that line. So to your family line even. You don't necessarily know Gentiri specifically. You know of him. You know that he was in Reef at the time of its annexation. But like you haven't met him in particular. So like his aunt and uncle work directly for the king. One of his cousins was probably like an off member at your estate or something like that. As a Viscount, he's a fairly low-level noble, definitely lower than yourself. You'd be some sort of... You'd probably be like in line to be a duke, not a duke yourself, but in line for it. So yeah, he's of a lower station than you are, but he's from the area of Reef. And yeah, like I said, you haven't met him specifically.
Has Ikarin ever shared like his lineage or like who he is with May at any point in their? Okay.
Nope.
So yeah, May sends him
He actually
this
hasn't
message,
shared
like,
it with anybody.
This
Actually, though,
is,
I'm also going to give you, really quick, we're going to go back. I'm going to give Ikaran a perception check from when you met Winter. Because you haven't met her as Winter yet. Winter is, and you know this, and we'll say for whatever reason you didn't speak to her about it, she's like a knight in the service of the king.
Okay. Okay.
So May has just asked you if you know him and told you that she got a letter addressed to her that has her last name is Vintal and her elven name.
Oh, also,
Do you?
the letter was hyphenated. It's Vinhalt Flayer. And
Yeah, she's gonna
half-elves
save that second part
traditionally hyphenate their last names. I've added as a thing. Because I've decided
Yeah.
elves pass their mother's name down to their children, and humans do the father's, so half-elves hyphenate. Anyway, carry on, as you were. I'll shut up.
I'm not telling him about the second part yet. That's a conversation for after high tea because that's a whole nother thing. I mean, let's get through this part of like everything May's learned in the last like 48 hours, and then we'll move on to. I don't know which part's more dramatic or gonna be more unsettling to her, but it's a lot.
Okay. So Ikaran's is basically going to tell is going to basically wonder out loud about why Winter didn't tell us more, considering who she is.
Sort of in your chat
as,
with May, or just say it out
Yeah.
to the world?
Yeah. No, with May and I. Like why she didn't tell you more when
Is this
considering
before
who
May
she
asked-
is and who she.
Is this before May mentioned
This
her
is just
last
me
name?
when-
Like,
yeah.
or is this?
I think this is in
Yes,
response to
this would be
that,
before that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
actually, yeah, it's
before
in
that.
response to that as to why she didn't. Yeah,
Oh, well, Winter's
Why she
Wait,
didn't
I'm
say more.
really
and
confused
she-
at what's going on conversationally
Gotcha.
right now. Okay, so before May mentioned her last name, Ikarin said, "I wonder why
right.
Winter didn't tell us." Okay, so let's do that conversation, and then I'll have May give the last name, and then we'll do that because this
Yes.
otherwise I'm going to be super confused.
There we
at
go.
what we
That'll
don't
work.
know. Okay,
Beautiful.
so you
Perfect.
say who Winter is and wonder why she didn't say more.
Right. As a knight to the Duke. Yes.
Although
Yeah.
Nikolai
That-
does not know about her splintered personality. You recognized her as Winter. You didn't
No.
recognize her as Spring. You don't know that she has this disorder.
So
Right.
I'm not sure, but she seems to have some sort of I don't know if they have a name for it yet in this world. Have you ever met somebody who has kind of like two different personalities or like people in one? Because she seems to have kind of that. Like it doesn't seem like Winter and Spring are the same person, but they're not in mentally. Does that make sense?
Maybe same person based on emotional status would
Possibly.
be
I mean,
like
same
that. I have
physical
seen
person,
in the past.
two different. Yeah. So maybe she didn't tell us because that persona doesn't. Do you think maybe her connection to the king? Oh gosh. So Ikarin, the invitation I got it was addressed to my elven name with the last name Vindhal, and it was magically sealed, and it was from the Viscount Gentiri von Eldscrib.
When did you get this invitation?
This morning.
May I see it?
Yeah. She's gonna pull it out and hand it to him.
As looking at this thing, is there anything familiar about it?
So you would
That's-
recognize that the seal on it has a minor enchantment on it that works like a red receipt on an email. So when she cracked the seal, the person who sent it knows that she opened it. Other than that, it is mundane. It is written in decent handwriting. You know, it looks like a noble could have written it. It's on the sort of letter that might be sent. You know, high tea's at 4 o'clock, so if you guys are going to get changed and get going, you better get a move on.
Well, I think we should go. I think we should find out what this is all about.
Icardan, that's the last name of the
It's the only way we're
Oh,
going to get
right?
the answers.
That's-
Yes,
That doesn't
but
make any
why?
sense.
It does not. But the only way it's going to make sense is if we go to this and find the answers we seek.
Okay, I think
Now,
Crowder
it says
has-
here you may bring one or two.
I'm just bringing
That
everybody.
you may
But
bring one or two.
we'll call Emerity my guard, and you can be. I mean, you're. Have you ever spent time with the nobility?
I can go
before?
invisible if I need to. I can go invisible and go in.
Have you
if
ever
I need
spent
to.
time with the nobility? Could you just invite? I don't know how all this works, really.
I've had some run-ins with nobility.
Okay,
Um,
well, I'll leave it up to you.
I understand how they work.
Is there anything
you
I
know,
should
when-
know going into this? Because I've mostly only read about the nobility. I haven't. Maybe a couple of missions I've kind of passively worked with them, but
In the current environment, I would say keep your eyes and ears open.
I always do
Trust
that.
no one.
I never do. So okay, well, Krata has some clothes for. We better. Ikasi, Verith, Emerity. Let's go get ready. Let's go to this. Yeah. So May is like obviously like really not herself right now. Like she's usually like really like, and she's just like, yeah. There's Ikarin, there's some other stuff I need to talk to you about as soon as we get back, and it has to do with the hyphenated last. It's a whole. Let's go to the tea. Let's go to the tea. And she's
Let's
gonna immediately go down to
let us.
Krata's office or whatever.
So if you're all going in as a group, when you get to Krata's shop, you see that the lights are off inside. It is dark.
Do you think Crowder's gone home for the day?
No.
Is he trying to be dramatic? Because that seems like something he would do.
Possibly.
We can tell Crotto is obviously a theater child.
Krata, are you?
Do you open the door?
Yeah, for sure.
You open the door, and the little bell goes off, and you hear Krata's whisper, Letty now. And boom! Someone casts dancing lights, and there are now spotlights on these mannequins that Akasi saw earlier. And there are 4 full-size mannequins and 1 little itty-bitty one.
The special effects.
So there's the dress for Akasi.
Oh my god.
Which I think we had decided as a lizard folk is like an A-line kind of summer dress type thing. It's a lovely blue that sets off the highlights on your scales and your eyes. So that's on. He's got lizard folk mannequins for sure. the suit for Vareth it's like he put a mannequin on a pedestal to fit, so the sleeves kind of hang off it a little bit. But it's a very nice suit, and you can tell it'll actually fit you, which, but the mannequin he has clearly isn't quite right. Then May, your dress that you brought in, that he modified, he's added like 7 layers. There's petticoats galore. There is a corset. There's all sorts of stuff, for sure. And then Merity, there's actually something set there that you can tell is for you because you know what size you are.
How did he get these measurements? Do I want to know? There's a lot of questions I have right now.
Him,
No, because he might not come out alive from that questioning.
And what it is it's actually going to mechanically be a breastplate because that's an armor upgrade for you. And so it's got the breastplate, the metal, but then it also has an outfit on it that sort of matches your, creature of the night type aesthetic. And it's, feminine enough, but a guard's armor sort of setup. And he'll let you look at it for a second, and then he'll pop out and he'll go, ta-da! And then just the normal lights turn back on, and Letty stands up.
What
goes,
is that?
Hi.
What is that? Looks like it has so many, there's layers and am I supposed to wear that?
Look at her. She's so happy she can't even speak.
I mean, if you want to call it that,
I was going to go a little simpler, but then Winter stopped by, and she said that for a lady of your station, I should go all out. And she also, this is part of it. And he goes over to his counter and he says, his mannequins don't have heads because he makes clothes. So I didn't have a place to put it, but, and he hands a tiara to you. She said you should wear this.
What the heck am I supposed to do with this?
It goes in your hair. It'll go lovely with the dress.
My station?
Winter says stuff and I do it. She's in charge.
I never knew you as the
orphanage
obedient
in
type.
What?
Lizard folk always act in their best interest.
What, you just do this and people wear this kind of thing?
They do. I think it looks lovely. Not everyone.
I think it looks crazy.
Thank you, Amerity.
You're welcome. She's like that best friend you take shopping that tells you everything the wrong way.
Tells you as it is.
Winter told you to do this.
Letty will pipe up. Yeah, she was quite insistent.
I think she's projecting. Maybe it's just me.
She's gonna message at Karin and just. So Winter is one of the knights of the crown, and she talked about my station and this dress and a tiara, a freaking tiara. I don't wear dresses and high tea with the last name of.
Just one of those moments where Karin just wants to reach over with his finger and shh. It's okay.
Noticing that you're standing there and she can't tell you're having a mental conversation, but just not saying anything, Letty will pipe up and say, if you need help, I can help you put it on and everything. I know how to do it. I'm actually a little jealous. It's
so
so pretty. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure Nikolai knows too. Letty's making an offer. Actually, you can roll insight to know whether or not you know that Letty's kind of making a pass at her too.
That's brilliant.
Well then,
on a 14, you
14?
Can't tell. Letty's too good.
Okay.
Rico Suave over there.
She's gonna look at Karin and actually say out loud, should I wear this?
If it was made for you, why not?
Ephemerity, don't say a word.
I'm just gonna go and look over at For some reason, I've forgotten the name of your brother, Hikasi, because my brain is very tired today.
Crota.
What was
Crota,
Crota.
very
Oh,
nice to
oh my
meet you.
gosh.
Would you like a
No,
copy of
I-
my business scale?
No, I'll lose it. No, she's gonna look over at Crota and say, "Do you have a face covering?"
What do you want? Like a scarf, a mask?
Just something so they don't have to see my face, because they don't deserve to look upon it.
You know what? Actually, I got this thing in the back. And he walks over and he says, I haven't been able to. Well, you'll see. And he pulls out. He's got this cape. And it's a big, poofy cape that is a very dark purple. And it's got a very high collar. And you can see built into it, it also has like a covering that goes across the front. So you'd have to put it on top of you. And you could tell you could pull that up to cover your face, like a mask, or leave it down. And he doesn't say anything when he gives it to you. He just gives it to you and says, you could, I think this would work great with the outfit. I think it's perfect.
Looks like it'll do. What do you want for it?
You know what? I've already put the bill for you guys on the ledger for all the clothes, all the work. Gave you a steep discount. We'll just call it part of it, and I'll settle up with Moneybags Nikolai over there. You said we just put it on his tab, right? So.
Oh, okay, that's fine then. I won't complain.
Oh, by the way, the final outfit, the tiny mannequin, is a little waistcoat and a bow tie and a top hat for Triple T.
Okay.
Oh my
I think
God.
May's gonna walk over and pick that up and like call him out and like put it on him really quick and then turn to Letty. Here, this you look very nice in this.
Okay.
And she's gonna turn to Letty and look at the dress again. I would love the help. I have no idea what I mean I do. I've read about how people dress like for one mission anyway. Yes, I would love your help.
And Letty will like sort of gesture over to there's a changing room, of course, because it's a nice tailor shop. And she'll start like taking the dress off the mannequin and say, well, first you have to, I'll meet you in there.
Okay.
And
May's
and
gonna
she
walk in
will
the dressing room just like
meet you in there and help you put on the dress. You roll an insight.
why do I always roll literal garbage on insight no matter what?
Oh, God.
That is a 7.
Yeah, she seems competent. She helps. You you get the dress on. It's fine. She's friendly.
It'll do.
It's friendly, huh? I see. Okay, so corset, not very comfortable. Not a fan. Not a fan.
No. So it's
Does she do the whole like pull it in like really tight? You know.
Yeah, she gives you the all right, so take a deep breath. Now breathe
Okay.
out slowly on the count of 5, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, and on 4 she literally puts her foot on your back and pulls.
Oh.
And she
How
ties it up
to-
real tight real quick and goes, Yep, that should do.
Why?
Fashion.
Women do. There are better ways to do fashion. What am I supposed to do if I have to run? I can't breathe.
And at that, she takes her hand and brushes your hair behind your ear, and turns you to a mirror and says, "Look at yourself."
What do I see? What's this address?
No. You decide what she sees. Like, I could tell you, but it's more fun if you decide what she sees when she looks in the mirror. Letty says it like it's great. I mean, she's into you, but
I don't think when May came to Freeport, she expected to have this many people into her. I don't think that was part of the mission.
No, but I watched Bridgerton, so you know.
Oh, yeah, well, there you go. There you go. Fair enough. Okay, so she's gonna look in the mirror and see, like, I'm trying to think, what would they do with this? I almost feel like we should have Will give us what this dress looks like, but I'm picturing something that's like upscale but still her aesthetic, like probably some black and silver along with maybe like, yeah, I think it's actually like this color dress, and it kind of comes up down off the shoulders and has like a bit of a v-neck with like a black corset and just like silver embroidery like all over it, just really not anything they would ever wear. But nice, it looks good with her coloring. The black and the corset, like that works. And there's the black and silver thing, so she kind of appreciates that at least her aesthetic has been brought in somewhere in this ridiculous, like, multi-layer petticoat, whatever thing that is totally impractical.
For sure. Akasi, it's easy enough for you to get changed into your dress as well.
Yep.
Amerity, when you put on that cape, you become aware that it is blowing in a breeze that is not there.
Oh, is it a cape of billows?
It is a cloak of billowing.
Ah, darn it.
Although, if you pull up the mask, it stops.
Oh, okay. That's good.
So what we're going to
Faces my face
say
anyway.
is pulling up that mask mechanically, you've got, as your background, you took the thing that gives you the second personality, the Silver Veil.
Yeah.
So mechanically, that'll switch you from Amerity to the Silver Veil.
All right. That works.
Yeah.
Now,
And
what about
so-
Akasi's pretty little dress?
Cassie does have a very pretty dress. And yeah, your brother clearly made it for you with love. And actually, you can roll a perception check real quick as Akasi.
Oh, good lord. Perception right here.
You remember that he offered you a suit or a dress, and you said dress, and he had one ready that he had made for you that was very nice. So there's probably a suit in the back somewhere that fits you real good too. Right? He was ready for like whichever one you said. But it's a very nice undress. It has pockets.
Oh, gosh, does
Wins.
the gown with all those layers have pockets? I mean, it's got so much fabric.
No, the gown with all the layers does not have pockets.
No pockets. Oh,
It's like feeling for the pockets, like,
I have pockets.
Nikolai has a secret pocket.
Yes.
so I think, oh gosh, I think when May comes out, she's going to look at a card and be like, is this what people wear in the court of the elves?
Young ladies who are out looking for a husband.
Certainly.
Oh, what? Yeah, so I think
Or a
May,
wife.
she looks
I mean, very
nice. I think
egalitarian.
she's like, I look nice in this, but I don't know what's going on. Guys, we're going to be late. We better hurry. Do they
going
make her wear
to be-
heels too? Does she have heels too? Like,
There are heels there for you. Did you put on heels or wear your normal boots?
She's gonna wear the heels. I mean, she can pull them off. I mean, they did the formal dance, whatever, at the conservatory, but she makes sure that they're ready to be slipped off at a moment's notice if she needs to.
Do you have someone like put your sneakers in their bag?
Yeah. Hey, Karin, could you put these? And they're just like very lightweight because sneaky shoes. Do you have one to
Sneaky
put on in case
shoes.
we need to make a run? What was that?
Sneaky shoes. I was just laughing.
you should have a name for those.
I can take those and hold on to those if you'd like.
Okay, thank you. This is. Well, anyway, okay, and she's gonna like pull her head up and like walk out like she owns the place because like apparently this is like a thing now. She's got like her heels and everything. Like, I'll see you guys in the street. How am I supposed to wear this to the? She's gonna walk right out the door. Oh, she's gonna, she's quickly done like her smoky eye, like the hair, like got at least a little of her.
But... before we leave, Karen's gonna ask Krada if he has any sashes, like specifically in elven blue.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, do you want the...
I'm gonna need a shoulder sash.
Are you... I just want to make sure you're specifically asking me for a royal blue silk shoulder sash to wear to an elven noble's for tea. I just want to make sure that I'm hearing you correctly, because yes, I have this. But I mean...
Yes.
I will fetch it for you, sir.
Thank you.
He comes back with... And it's got a little silver trim on it too. But yeah, he's got exactly what you're asking for.
Okay. I will take it. Thank him. And I will pay for all of the stuff that needs to be paid for.
Actually, it's cheaper than you
Unless he's
expected. It's only 200 gold that he has marked down for you guys.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
that works.
I was teasing them last weekend by giving them 200 gold as the price before I told them that Amerity was getting armor too. So they didn't know it was a discount.
Like, oh, he jacked up the price. Oh, okay. Armor.
No, it's more than half off.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay.
Get them discounts.
I'm a
coupon lady.
So Karin will put his sash. Will put his sash on, and he's gonna pull out of his pocket a little pendant, and he's gonna pin that onto himself.
The gondola is easy enough to find. It's kind of down by the docks in a nice section. You guys aren't the only ones on there. Yeah, it's by like where the swanky boats come in, so that if you get in on a swanky boat, you can just go from your swanky boat to your gondola to go to the swanky part of town without going through the rest of it.
How do people in town respond as we all walk down the street?
So it's like sort of mid-late afternoon. Those people who have jobs are at their jobs. I imagine you didn't go down through the lower entrance through the back docks. It's kind of like the seedier part of town, but instead of the front entrance, that's kind of in the nicer part of town. So there's not that many people around to notice you because it's like the middle of the day on a work day. Those that do like give you a second glance for sure, but no one like says anything or anything like that.
Okay.
But yeah, your passage is noticed a little bit. The gondola itself, like I said, not hard to find, and it rides like a gondola or a ski lift over the bay up to Farside, which is again on the other side of this fjord that the city's built into, and it's raised much higher. You guys haven't been to there yet, so when you step off the gondola, you see it's the nice part of town, obviously. There is topiary lining all of the streets. The streets are much, much cleaner than you've seen. Every building looks like a large estate, essentially. There is
So let's start with some basic
one estate that looks to be the largest of them. That is clearly off in the back. Pretty obviously belongs to the Duke. And you have directions to go to get to the Viscount's house. He had the address on the invitation. It is one of the smaller houses here, but still obviously rich people own it. And I want someone to make some sort of roll to determine whether you are on time or late. Anyone can call it, and I'm going to say it's probably a survival check, because that's like navigating the wilderness and stuff like that, but I could hear other arguments.
No.
Yeah, survival. We're gonna have a Kasi do that. We want to be on time.
On a 16, you like show up on time. So you
Nice.
knock on the door, and it's 4:00, and the door gets open, and there's a older looking gentleman who's there. He says, yes, can I help you, Miss?
Amelin Windhalflayer to see the Viscount
Oh,
Gentiri van Alpha.
your retinue is larger than expected. Please do come in. And he opens the door, and it's a big, noble's entranceway, bunch of marble. And you can see there's a couple of maids that are just standing there in a line. There's 3 of them. And as he opens the door, he turns to one of them and says, Martha, do set a couple extra spaces at tea. And she scurries off, and he just holds the door expectant for you guys to walk in.
May's gonna glance back at the others and glance forward and look at the maids and okay, and walk in.
Yeah, before we got to that door, Meredy did pull up that mask. So
Okay.
and she's trailing like right behind May.
Gotcha. And as you enter in, he will close the door behind you. He will turn to you and he will say, I can of course take any coats, Mom. And he will pointedly look at Meredy.
I'm only here as guard. My mask stays on.
Anyone else?
She's very particular about that.
Coats. If you would wait here for a moment, I shall announce your arrival to the master of the house. And he just sort of like walks off, and those 2 maids are just gonna stand there like looking straight ahead. Unless
I
you
think
do
May's
anything
gonna
about
like kind of wave to them like, hi. They're probably
it.
not
Go ahead
supposed
and
to do
make
that,
like a
isn't it?
persuasion roll real quick.
That is a 19.
Ooh, nice.
So the younger looking of the 2 giggles a little bit and waves back, and then the older one goes, "No, stop."
It's fine.
And that's
Hi.
about when the butler shows back up and says, "If you would follow me, please." And he'll
This
lead
place
you.
looks so fancy.
Oh, it's very fancy. He'll
I'm
lead you
picturing
down.
like the French,
It's
he'll
all
lead you
right.
down the hall.
This is like the nicest thing. May's
Oh yeah. Nikolai's seen better. He'll lead you down the hall, and he opens up what is the door to clearly a parlor. It's a fairly large room. There are bookshelves that line the room. There's a piano in the corner, and there's a table. And on the table, there are a bunch of tea cups that are set out, a bunch of finger sandwiches, small finger foods like a couple of cookies and biscuits, brownies, things like that. It's a tea service. And then sitting in the corner of the room is an elf, and he is on very fancy clothes that he has like undone his top buttons on and stuff. He's if they had Converse, he'd be wearing Converse with his suit right now. That's the vibe he's given off. And he is sitting back in a chair, and he has a lute that he is playing badly. Like he's practicing his scales and he doesn't have it right. And he looks up and he says, "Oh, right." And he sets it down and he stands up and he bows very deeply. And he says, "The Viscount Gentiri von Aldsgrave at your service." And he looks up from his very deep bow.
Why are you bowing? Why did you invite me to tea? What is all this about?
So Nikolai would know that sort of the correct response here is to have someone make a proper introduction. You as a noble, it'd be like you could, because you're high enough rank that you could just do it and you don't have to stand for propriety. But like what would normally be done would be Verith or a Meredy or maybe a Kasi would speak up and introduce the two of you to him. But they don't know to do that. And
Are we still connected, May?
If you do a thing, like, she will probably be looking back at you because this guy just bowed to her and she's asking who he is. She doesn't know what's going on. She's gonna message you like, this is out of my element.
I'm gonna tell her that you are the recipient of the invitation, so you need to introduce yourself to the host and whoever your guest is, your other guest. Your Al Qaeda guest you got there.
She's gonna look at you.
she's in the mask. She's the silver veil right now.
It's so funny. I just looked at it. And went, oh dear.
We're all getting into, like,
I like that it
so
sounds
sweaty, it
cute.
smells like dog.
I think the cape of billowing is now houndstooth just because it's such a good look on you.
Indeed.
This is canon.
It really is.
It was purple. It's not. This is better.
Oh
Oh,
god.
it's purple house too.
So I'm telling Nikolai is telling you that you must do a formal introduction,
I don't
bow, formally
know
introduce
how to
yourself.
do that. Okay, like, she's learned like the basics, in spy school training, whatever. So I guess she's gonna. Do you bow or she's gonna just okay?
It's literally. It's like Nikolai is like literally going, okay, step one.
She's
You
like,
curtsy
okay.
to him.
She has good dexterity, so she's gonna
Actually,
curtsy to him.
So, is Icaron walking her through how she would introduce herself as like a fellow noble, or how she would introduce herself if she were a princess?
Well,
Because they're gonna be.
that's a good question because that's a good question because I need to know what type of tiara is she wearing because it'll tell rank.
She is wearing a tiara that signifies that she's in line for the throne. Not necessarily like the next in line, but in that line.
Right. So she would be a princess because
Yes.
that would be the
Princess is the term.
succession. Okay. So then that's exactly what I'm telling her based on what she is wearing, based on her.
Okay. Now, I also
status.
think it's fun if you have an idea for how that like looks, you can go ahead and describe it, or I can make it up. But I also wanted to know like which one you were saying with it.
Well, it would be that one, and the other thing I don't know that has he noticed what I'm wearing.
He hasn't yet, or at least he's treating her as if she is the more important person in the room.
Okay, good.
Which, because she's in direct line for secession and you're on an offshoot, she would be.
Okay, cool. That's what I needed. I just needed to make sure. I thought I maybe like Icaron would have kept himself in the back.
Yeah. So
sort of out of the way.
He may have noticed you. He may not, but he's clearly treating her with primacy at this point.
So I'm going to tell her exactly step by step what she needs to do, and first it would be it wouldn't even be it's not a curtsy per se. It's just it's like a head bow, really, because of your status. You just nod your head basically, and you would announce yourself.
And the crown fell off. It's not going to happen.
And you would announce, and he will say to announce, and he'll tell you exactly what to say, princess, and your full name.
Do you add the flair that he doesn't know about when you introduce yourself as he tells you to?
And
well, he would have seen it on the invitation, wouldn't he?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he saw the invitation. So it's there now. So yeah, sorry.
So, and I'll tell you the exact name. It's like that you are princess so and so, so and so, so and so, and he'll also say, "Keep your chin up." Straight back.
She's like jolting into like acting the part, like spy thing. Like she still does not believe this is her, but she's like, okay, we're playing this part. So she's gonna, do the head inclination and then go, Princess Amelin. How do we decide to say that? I'm sorry, I can't remember.
You can tell me.
Okay. Princess Amelin Bintal Flair.
And he takes your hand and he says, delighted, and he gives it a little kiss. And he stands up. And I think at that point is when you see that he notices Nikolai's sash, and he gives you a bow, not as deep. It would be, you can't tell if it's just that he's still acknowledging that May would be like of a higher rank, or if he's like snubbing you a little bit with the bow. Like, it's not as deep as it should be, but it's hard to tell if that's because she's here or because whatever. And he will look over the rest of them and he says, and your friends. What an interesting
This
group."
is what's Ikasi's last name? Does she know that Ikasi is the chieftain's daughter? Like, does she know to introduce her as like next?
Well, I know who you
Kasi
have to
has no
ask.
last name. There aren't really last names for the lizard folk.
Does
They're
May
just
know
one
that
tribe.
Ikasi and Krata's dad is the chief?
It would be inferred just if you heard how we talk to each other, but we've never outright said our dad's the chief of the
Well,
chieftain of the
and
tribe.
how much does May know about lizard folk culture, just outside of having met Akasi and Krata?
Probably not a lot, but from their speaking, like the way they talk about her dad, like she's picked up that he's like some sort of leader or something, just because the way they talk about him in the tribe. Like, I think she knows that much, that in tribal cultures, that she's read a lot, you know.
Yeah. So how are you
this
going to introduce everyone else?
This is Ikasi of the lizard folk. She's going to send a message to Ikasi. Sorry, where are you from exactly?
Southlands.
A lizard folk of the Southlands. This is. She's going to message Vareth. What's your last name?
I also do not have a last name. You see,
okay.
Furbolgs don't actually use names. The only reason Furbolgs use names at all is to communicate with people outside of Furbolg communities. So they just take their names from Elven culture.
Okay, where are you from?
The Northlands.
Oh, okay. This is Vareth of the Northlands, and this is Meredy. What's your last name? She's gonna message me.
A walking towel.
That walking towel that you get at like the Motel 6 that's really scratchy.
Meredy,
Okay, because
what's your
I'm just getting
last
too
name?
spicy. That's not actually her real name, so
Yeah, Mary's not even her
it
real
might
name.
just be better to just like infer that it's your guard.
Okay, yeah. This is my
God, it smells of dog.
personal guard, Meredy. Okay. They are my traveling companions.
And it would be up to you to introduce Nikolai.
Oh, that's right. And of course, this is.
And I will be messaging you, and I will tell you exactly how to present me. And this is
Okay.
just between you and I. You will
Perfect.
present me. You will present me as. God, you will present me as. I wrote it down. Hold on. God,
We all know our names.
I hate being royalty. You will.
Oh yes, it's such a struggle.
You'll
First world
announce
problems.
me. I know. You'll announce me as Sovereign Prince Onwell Ikaran of Thiel of the Northlands.
You get all that?
Yeah, no, I got that. Meridy's got a probably better memory than Meredy. May's got a better memory. And this is Sovereign Prince Onwell Ikaran of Thiel of the Northlands.
An unexpected honor, Your Highness.
And I'll give him a slight bow.
I have refreshments, should any wish, and he'll gesture over to. There's like 2 couches by this table with all of the goodies stacked up, and he'll actually take May's hand, and if you let him, escort you over, and like not really help you sit down, but do that fake help you sit down that like nobility do.
May's gonna play the part at this point. She's going with it.
And he will specifically sit opposite you, rather than next to you, as propriety demands. And as he takes a cup of saucer, he was like, "Lovely weather we're having today, isn't it?"
Yes.
Yes.
It's usually lovely, isn't it?
Quite. You know, it is fantastic to see you again, Amelin. You have grown into a wonderful woman.
See me again. And she's at this point. I think she's gonna like. Viscount. Why do you think that I'm the princess of the Northlands?
Well, are you not? Are you not Amelin?
I mean, that is my elven name, but I've never met my family.
Hmm. Has Ileana been raising you with no knowledge of who you are?
She when she she spent some time with me growing up, yes, but she never said.
She didn't raise the three of you herself.
She's gonna look at the others. I've only just met my sister recently, and I've not yet met my brother. I grew up in basically an orphanage in Evretsia for magic users. I have no idea who my parents were. I've been looking for them for.
Oh, you poor thing. You have been done a disservice. Had I known, I would have... Oh. Of course we trust Ileana. Of course we trust Ileana to do whatever. But your sister gave no such indication. I am sorry.
You've met...
Kiadora?
Yes.
A lovely young woman. Have you...
Quite.
I suppose then, well, you don't know me from... You don't know me from a stranger on the street, do you? I am... Well, I suppose I should do this properly. And he stands up again, and he gives an even more big, ostentatious, regal bow. He is putting out his foot forward, doing a heavy arm movement, and very, very low. And he doesn't even look up to speak to you when he says it, but he will say, "I am your sworn servant, my princess." And then he looks up and he says, what is it? It's hard to tell time. 3 decades ago, give or take, I was late leaving Reef after annexation. And my boat was free, and Ileana needed a ride, and she had 3 screaming children. That's the last time I saw you. But my family has sworn an oath to yours, and I will ever be your servant. Whatever you need.
At this point, I think May's like on the edge of like a panic attack, and she's like,
Your sister made it seem that you wished to be introduced to society, to potentially throw your name in the ring as heir to the kingdom of the Northlands, should anything befall your esteemed grandmother, long may she reign.
I have met Kiadora exactly twice, neither under particularly wonderful circumstances. We have barely exchanged.
She seemed to know you quite well.
Well, apparently she knows more about me than I do, because apparently she somehow found our parents, which I have been asking Ileana about for many years, and she has been very vague in her answers.
Well, your mother is, of course, the Princess Helena, only daughter of King Vindhal. And your father is,
She's going to kind of glance at the others.
well, he's your father. Unique.
So I've gathered.
He was advisor to the Duke when your mother was visiting, and their romance was quick. I believe the term is whirlwind. I don't know why your mother didn't, and father, he was a mage of some considerable renown. I don't know why they didn't leave Reef upon annexation, but they got you out, obviously. I didn't know your father well, but he's... I would not speak ill of your father in front of you, but he's... Well, he's just creepy looking.
He's creepy looking. I understand he's a less than...
Let's say we shall all be glad that you and your sister inherited your mother's good looks.
You knew... Did you know my mother?
Quite well. I served in her retinue.
What is she like?
Your mother was very upset that her mother decided it was time for her to take a mate. She was impudent, brash, foolish. My favorite person I've ever known, to be honest. She couldn't walk by someone in pain without stopping to help. She was smart, funny, beautiful singing voice. I miss her every day.
And at this, May, there's tears starting in May's eyes, and she's trying to I think at this point she's not even sure what to say next. I think she's just gonna mutter kind of softly, why wouldn't Ileana have told me who I was?
I'm afraid I don't know. I've not spoken to her in some time. When your sister told me you were in town, and I'm sorry, I never meant to cause you any duress. Anything you need, I am your humble servant.
I think she's gonna mutter, you didn't mean to cause me stress, but I think Kiadora did. No, Ileana sent me here on a special mission.
She said nothing of it to me. What was your mission?
It's not exactly gone according to plan. Well, could you make an insight check on how sincere the Viscount is on, like...
I've been
should she-
waiting for you to do that for so
Yeah.
long.
Sure, great. Like all of her insight checks do, right?
Yes.
Okay, this one's a little bit better, finally. That's a 16.
So, okay, and a 22 for Icaron. So on your 16, May, you can tell that he's honest in his offer to help you. That he was prepared to, like, introduce you to society as if, like, you were going to be part of the social season, look for a husband or a wife, and, like, potentially go back to the Northlands and join court. Like that, he was really prepared to help you do that. He's not sure what you want now, but he's sort of on board. Icaron can tell with his insight, and I think it fits because he's got more insight into the nobility. This guy as a Viscount stands a lot to gain from associating himself with a princess. And he clearly had that association before with your mother. He might be talking that up a little bit more than it was, but he was at least somehow associated with her. He's looking to... It would be good for him if you were in line for the next King of the Elves and owed him some favors.
Does Icaron relate that part to May? She's going to glance
Yeah,
over at
we're
him,
still connected. I'm
establish
letting you
that
know.
connection, yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. And I'll tell you, based on my experience in the nobility, that this is a pretty common thing. That lesser nobles tend to like to buddy up to higher nobles so they can get their connections.
This world is so foreign to me. Like... Okay, so she's gonna look at the Viscount, and I think she's gonna kind of sit back. I think she's finally gonna be like, okay, we're playing a game, maybe a little bit. She's gonna sit back and kind of look at him. And what kind of help are you prepared to offer?
Well, I suppose I don't know what my lady would like. I was prepared to introduce you to society. I have connections that could get you into the greatest balls here in Freeport. I know friends. The Duke has an elder son who, or if women more take your fancy, there is quite the beauty in from the... Well, I think it's a second cousin along the line of the heirs to, well, it's really, they call themselves a republic, but the greater Republic of Eastfall, they're not a republic. Let's see, I could definitely make some other introductions for you. I'm a man of some means. I have plenty of guest rooms if you and your friends need somewhere to stay.
We've got an okay setup. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. Thank you for your hospitality. This entire world is rather foreign to me. Introduced into society,
Well, yes, you would have there are a couple of balls at which a young lady such as yourself might debut, or a young man. One is being held in roughly 2 or 3 weeks. I would go, of course, as your chaperone, and you would be introduced to society as yourself. If you are to make a claim for the throne, having a powerful alliance in a marriage would certainly be helpful. What with the provenance of your parentage, perhaps debatable, although there are, of course, ways to tell. Your grandmother would, of course, recognize you on sight, but
Does my
others might whisper.
even know I exist?
I've not spoken to her directly, but I am inclined to believe she does.
I understand why my mother has never reached out, but I have a hard time understanding how the king of the elves would have never reached out to a long-lost grandchild.
With you being raised in a Bretsia, acknowledging long-lost grandchildren and retrieving them, it would have meant war.
Well, how would I even prove my lineage, especially if I didn't even know it until now?
There are magical means. Of course, my testimony. Eliana's, if we can find her.
Hey, Karin, what do you think about all this? Karin is somebody that I have worked with on you could say missions before.
Are we talking out loud right now?
Yes, she's
Okay.
gonna talk to you out loud. She's gonna do like the official address to you and
I must say, Your Highness, it is strange that you are here with her and she does not know her lineage. I thought you were well known by now.
Wait, who's he talking to?
You. Not well known.
Me?
Is not what he would have said. He wouldn't have said well known. But he would have said, I thought your own debut was a few years back.
A couple of things real quick. To May, you would actually address me as Onwell, not Ikarin.
oh, whoops, sorry. Okay.
Just FYI, I'm not saying.
So I said we'll retcon that. On well.
And I will tell him that I have been away for 5 years. So, yeah, I would not have known most of these things. I am catching up myself, you may say. You may think.
I see.
I'm not going to give it away that I didn't know
Yeah.
any of that.
Well, you have my address. Anytime you have need, I will leave word with my staff that you are to be admitted. Is there nothing I can do to help you now?
I am sorry. I've learned a lot about myself in the last couple of days since arriving in Freeport, and I'm still
I shall certainly have words with your sister about how she did not give me the full story.
in the 2 times I have met her, that does not surprise me. I don't think she is exactly my biggest fan. I'm not sure why, because I have never met her, but apparently she knows a lot. So
She had nothing but kind words of you to me.
what did she say?
That you were smart, brilliant, and the obvious choice to be the heir to the throne. That I should work with you to cement your position. And to take you back to the Northlands to meet your grandmother.
And there it is. Odd, isn't it, that a sister I've met twice wants me to be gone so quickly?
I don't know. Clearly,
She's just
she
gonna
doesn't
have
mean to
better-
fight you for the throne if she means to position you to take it yourself.
yeah, the throne of the
It
North.
sounds sus. That's all I gotta say. It sounds sus.
The throne of the North.
The rest of you know you can talk, right? Like you don't. This conversation doesn't just
You
have
guys
to
can
be them.
chime
The rest of you
in.
are
I
there.
don't think Emerity, if Emerity's in there, because that is nobility, she is off towards the door. So she is not really like in the conversation. And I don't know if Vareth would technically be by her or if he'd be sitting down with them.
If Vareth is there, he's probably struggling to eat a finger sandwich with a fork and knife because that's all he was trained to do.
There's no silverware on the table. You did your whole cutlery thing.
He's panicking.
It's all finger food.
Gonna look over and be like, "Oh, it's okay. This is finger food." Like message them, like, "It's okay. It's finger food. You can just eat. You can just eat it. Just eat it nicely."
Or Emerity's not really doing any of that. She's just standing there being creeped out by Hebe McJeeverson over there.
I mean, Akasi is just trying to absorb what's going on. Like, why is May looking so confused / angry / scared / sad? Why is the Viscount being such a creep? Why
Just
is
all the emotions?
What is Icaron's name?
He pulls out of a hat. It's this today. It's this today. It's this today. I
Yeah.
stuck myself in the eyeball.
How many names we all go by?
Akasi is just putting together the list of questions that she needs to have answered before she leaves Freeport.
Nobody knew like the Onwell Ikaran thing. That's his noble. That's
Right.
He's been keeping that secret like way down. But so he just goes by Ikaran or Nikolai actually when he's not.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But
So, like,
Akasi
and he has
has
a couple
the one
others.
name.
But the other
She
ones
doesn't
he
even have a
doesn't
last
use as much.
name.
I have to admit, May is getting more than a little frustrated. It's like, oh, look, he's nobility, and this is every. Okay, she doesn't do that out loud though.
forgotten that Icaron was related to the nobility, but it makes it so much better. It's so even better that you are.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that was one of the things I was trying to keep secret.
Yeah.
The
And I was
funny
like,
thing
oh,
is, it's
dang
like
it.
it makes you wonder, like, does Ikaran look at May and go, "Yeah, you do kind of look like my aunt."
Well, you do look
horrible
familiar.
thing to
I mean, it's the
say.
funny thing is you do look familiar, but the thing is elves. I mean that all elves look alike type of thing. But
Except you are.
I don't necessarily think he was like, oh wow, you are the spitting image of.
No, and it's
more
not
like,
a
oh,
spitting
you have
image
some
thing.
familiar. You could pass for is more of the way it goes than.
Like
Your first
you
cousin
wants to
you've definitely got your mother's nose.
There you go. Your cousin.
That's a very funny joke. No one is laughing at very hard because her dad's a mind flayer.
I'm laughing.
So,
Is Creeper
I
McCreeperson
giggled. I didn't
still
laugh
being
out
creepy?
loud, but
I know.
giggled.
I'm playing. Yeah. So you guys are free to ask any questions of him or anything, or you're free to leave. He's not keeping you here.
Like,
I'm just boring daggers into him with my eyes because that's what I do. Like, I don't say anything. I don't have to say anything.
so is he in charge of her protocols? Is that what he's telling her?
He is offering to be. He's offering to take.
Oh, okay.
that
So he's
position.
not the royal person that would be in charge of the protocols.
No.
Oh, okay.
In fact, with you already personally knowing her, you can tell he's wondering if he should even take that role. Like you'd be much better to take that role than him. So you're kind of throwing a loop in his
I'm going to let him know that she already has a master of protocol
Of course.
and that his services in that area will not be needed.
Of course. And if there is anything, of course, for yourself as well, sir.
I think May at this point is gonna be like, "This is ridiculous." And she's gonna look at Ikaran and message him and just be like, "Cousin, you're my cousin."
First
Yes.
cousin once removed.
Yeah, first cousin once removed. Yes. Did you know any of this when you came and worked with Arcane Divergence?
I don't think he knew it was you were. I don't think he knew you specifically. Like he didn't know that you were who you are.
Yeah. So like the missing elven princess, the missing crown princess is known. Like people know about that. That
Yeah,
she had
everybody knows it.
kids is like a really well guarded secret.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm pretty. Yeah,
you might have known, you might not have. It'd be like just because you're so close to the family, maybe you knew, but there's a strong chance you didn't.
well, he probably knew of children, but he
Mhm.
doesn't know anything like who they are, what they
Yeah.
look like. I mean, none of that.
Yeah, you definitely never met the dad.
So,
Yeah, they eloped.
so
You know, there wasn't a state
yeah,
wedding.
so he was. So he was probably just as surprised as you were, but didn't express it.
So she did message
Inside,
him in his
he
head
was
and
like
say, like, did you know who
screaming.
I was when Ileana first brought you in to work with Arcane Divergence?
And he'll tell you no, absolutely not. I didn't know who you were. But now that I do know who you are, it will be my duty to ensure your safety and to if you so choose to take your place. And I'll basically tell you that I would be being the highest royal here of the elven line, that I would be your master of protocol.
I think I read that term somewhere in a book once. I don't even know.
And this is all something we could discuss much later.
Yes, let's do that. Is there anything else we should ask the Viscount?
Nothing that would not tip our hands to anything. So the one thing I do know about nobility is they tend to talk. So the less we tell him, the safer you are.
Okay. So I think at this, she's just going to look around at her group. Would anyone else like to talk to the Viscount while we're here?
You have very lovely sandwiches.
Thank you. I shall pass your accolades along to my cook. I'm afraid I'm worthless at, well, a few things, but cooking is one of them. My sister, now, she makes an excellent tart.
Oh, you have a sister.
I do. Quite lovely, actually.
What is her name?
Oh, her name is Salen. She is unfortunately to be married soon, otherwise, well, she does like her men tall.
He's even like getting a little flustered. Yeah, yes. Well, if she makes food as good as this, I'm sure she'll make her husband very happy.
Oh, they shan't probably spend any time together. It's a political marriage.
Oh,
A big
that's a
shame,
shame.
really. Yes. She's
Political
lovely enough to marry. Lovely enough to marry for love. Unfortunately, my mother is poor enough that she must marry for the dowry.
People get married I've read about this. Just for political power.
Political power, money, sometimes love, children. Children's a big one. Oh, I do know a couple that got married on a dare. They've been together for 3 centuries. Lovely couple.
Interesting. Well,
I'm going to walk over to May and kind of lean down and say under a tone that she can only hear, do we need to get out of here now? Because this is very boring. Not like Vora is one of those people, like if it's
I
just
understand.
sitting around talking, she's like, oh.
Yeah, Vora is bored. I totally get that.
I think May's gonna turn to her and be like, "Yeah, just 1 minute. I think she's gonna turn to the Viscount and just say, "It's been lovely to meet you. Thank you for helping Ileana," and she's like not sure about any of this now. Ileana, get me and my siblings out of Ibrezia. Thank you for inviting me here today and for answering my questions and letting me know more about who I am than my mentor ever did. It was a pleasure to meet you. Your house is beautiful.
Thank you. The pleasure, of course, is all mine.
I will call on you again. I think at this point we will probably take our leave, if that is okay.
For sure. So we are right now at 4 o'clock, which is like our normal end time. We can keep going for a bit if people want to talk in character about everything that just happened, because I think we might have some people out next week as well. Correct? That's still
possibly.
Possibly. But we could. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys if you guys want to talk some more in character about everything, or if we want to call it a night for tonight and come back next week.
Icarin is. I know one thing. Icarin is going to. Again, this is a protocol thing to May. They're just going to tell her, is like, hey, what he's telling you is that you never have to ask permission to leave. You're the highest ranking. You're the highest ranking royal in the room. You simply just go.
Oh, so she's gonna glance back at the Viscount, and then look back at him, and be like, "Thank you for having us for tea." She did not touch any of the food. Like, in fact, she played with her. Like,
technically, if you wanted to, you could dismiss the Viscount from your presence. In his own home.
Mm-hmm.
You could just tell him you're dismissed, and he has to leave.
That'd be a power move.
That would be a power move.
I do have to go because I hear some really bad screaming coming from downstairs, which means they've gone feral, and I know my husband can't handle this.
Oh no!
So I need to save him.
We will end for the week. Thank you everyone who showed up.
It's just, since I'm not going to be here next week, is there any way we could have May and Icarin have a conversation? Unless that's not something you want
to. We can. Persephone, if you have to go deal with your kids, you can go deal with your kids, and we'll.
Right, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll talk to you later. If you two want to stay around and chat, we can do that on stream in front of people. We can just do that.
Fine.
Would you have that conversation in front of Akasi and Vareth?
I honestly think what
Would you
she'd probably
involve
do
them?
is take a minute with Icarin to have like a private conversation and then pull them in because they were there, you know. I think she just wants to let him know about her dad and stuff and then bring them into the conversation.
Okay. Why don't we do this? Let's end our stream for tonight. We'll come back next week with people. And we will essentially, I'll work with the two of you and we'll figure out what all you communicate about and all of that to get it done now. And then we'll have some fun surprises for everyone when it comes up. So thanks to everyone who joined us today. Yeah. A lot going on this week. See you later.
All the fun. Bye.
See you next week.
For coming.